Good afternoon. I am Kenyon McDuffie, at-large council member and chair of the council's Committee on Business and Economic Development. Today's Monday, November 18th, 2024, and we are convening this additional meeting of the committee in person in room 120 of the John A. Wilson Building, as well as via Zoom. We're also streaming live on the council's website. The time is 2:20 p.m., and we're calling to order this additional meeting of the committee. For the record, I'd like to note that we have a quorum, which consists of at-large Councilmember Anita Bonds, Ward 6 Councilmember Charles Allen, and myself. Today, the committee will consider and vote on the following measures. Bill 25-696, the Insurance Regulation Amendment Act of 2024. Bill 25-587, the Electrical Utility Underground Work Wage Act of 2024. Bill 25-152, the Insurance Database Amendment Act of 2024. Proposed Resolution 25-1045, the Catholic University of America Revenue Bonds Project Approval Resolution of 2024, and Proposed Resolution 25-1046, the Sojourner Truth Public Charter School Revenue Bonds Project Approval Resolution of 2024. One measure originally noticed for markup, Bill 25-783, the Business Improvement District Resiliency Act of 2024 will not be marked up today. Bill 25-696, try that again, Bill 25-696. The Insurance Regulation Amendment Act of 2024 was introduced on February 14th, 2024 by Councilmember Christina Henderson with 4 colleagues. The chairman sequentially referred the bill to the Committee on Business and Economic Development and the Committee on Health on February 20th, 2024. The Committee on Health held a public hearing on the bill on July 11th, 2024. This bill was, as introduced, would require private insurance companies and Medicaid and DC Health Care Alliance to cover vasectomy procedures and services without imposing cost-sharing requirements. The committee incorporated 2 additional bills into the committee print for Bill 25-696. Those are Bill 25-925, the Health Insurance Coverage Expansion Amendment Act of 2024, and Bill 25-926, the Medical Malpractice Clarification Amendment Act of 2024. Both bills were reintroduced on July 12, 2024 by Councilmember Robert White with 11 of our colleagues. The chairman referred the bills to the Committee on Business and Economic Development on September 17, 2024. The committee held a public hearing on the bills on Council Period 24 on October 25, 2022. As introduced, these bills would require private insurance companies to cover certain healthcare costs without imposing cost-sharing requirements and prohibit insurance from taking adverse action against a healthcare practitioner who provides legal healthcare. The committee made several changes to all 3 bills in the committee print, which is described in detail in the committee report. Of note, the committee expanded and requires Medicaid, DC Healthcare Alliance, and private insurers to cover all voluntary sterilization procedures and services. This will guarantee voluntary sterilization coverage under DC law for both women and men, and it ensures that women will continue to have coverage if the Affordable Care Act is repealed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move the draft committee report in print with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimously, and the measure is approved. Bill 25-587, the Electrical and Gas Utility Underground Work Wage Act of 2024, was introduced by myself and Chairman Mendelson on November 29, 2023, and referred to the Committee on Business and Economic Development on December 5th, 2023. The bill was a reintroduction of Bill 24-370, the Electrical Utility Underground Work Wage Act of 2021 from Council Period 24, which the committee held a hearing on during that council period on September 21st, 2022. This bill would provide a prevailing wage for underground utility workers set under the Federal Davis-Bacon Act. The district's construction workers, when working on a district project, are covered by the Davis-Bacon Act, which sets a prevailing wage for categories of workers on these construction projects. Throughout the country, many jurisdictions have taken up little Davis-Bacon Acts, expanding the prevailing wage to other categories of workers. The committee print expands upon the introduced version of the bill after feedback received from stakeholders, most notably expanding the bill to include the gas utility projects. The committee print makes technical changes as well as recommended by technical changes as well, which were recommended by the Office of General Counsel. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move the draft committee report in print with leave for make staff for leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. The measure is approved. The next measure is Bill 25-152. I introduced this bill, the Insurance Database Amendment Act of 2024, on February 24th, 2023, along with 9 of my colleagues. The chairman referred the bill to the Committee on Business and Economic Development on March 7th, 2023. The Committee on Business and Economic Development held a public hearing on the bill on June 15th, 2023. As introduced, the bill would require the Commissioner of the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking to establish a database of historical insurance records, establish a task force to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans, and create a fund to be used for payment under a program established pursuant to findings and recommendations of the task force. The committee worked closely on the committee print with a dedicated group of public stakeholders, most of whom testified on the bill at the committee's public hearing on June of 2023. The committee print makes many changes to the introduced version after feedback from those stakeholders, government stakeholders, including the Council's Office on Racial Equity and researching best practices in other states and jurisdictions. The committee print changes are summarized in great detail in the committee report on pages 23 through 31. Additionally, the Council Office on Racial Equity Impact Analysis on the print concluded, I'm quoting here, as drafted, the bill has clear directives, adequate authority and resources, deliberate considerations for systemic racism and its continued impacts, and explicit and intentional centering, engagement, and involvement of Black Americans in the district who have been directly harmed by enslavement, including those who have been displaced. The bill has made immense strides to improve its racial equity impact from introduced to its committee print, and its efforts must be commended, close quote. I'd also like to thank the coalition who worked in partnership with the committee to inform and refine the committee print for nearly 2 years. I would also like to thank Patrice Schulten, as well as Ronnie Galvin and Timmy Bennett for their invaluable contributions at this time, and posthumously thank Mr. James Fisher Jr. for his moving contributions at our hearing and to the print on Black land loss and legacy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move the draft committee report in print with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimously, and the measure is approved. The next measure on the agenda is proposed resolution 25-1045, the Catholic University of America Revenue Bonds Project Approval Resolution of 2024, which was introduced on October 24th, 2024 by Chairman Mendelson at the request of the mayor and referred to the committee on October 29th, 2024. The committee held a public roundtable on this proposed resolution on November 13th, 2024. If approved, this measure would authorize the issuance, sale, and delivery of tax-exempt revenue bonds, notes, or other obligations in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $165 million to assist the borrower in the financing, refinancing, or reimbursing of costs associated with an authorized project located on the Catholic University's Brookland campus pursuant to Section 490 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. The borrower intends to use the bulk of the funding to develop additional student housing units on its campus. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move the draft committee report in print with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the measure is approved. The next measure on the agenda is proposed resolution 25-1046, 1046, the Sojourner Truth Public Charter School Revenue Bonds Project Approval Resolution of 2024, which was introduced on October 24th, 2024 by Chairman Mendelson at the request of the mayor and referred to the Committee on Business and Economic Development on October 29th, 2024. The committee held a public roundtable on this proposed resolution on November 13th, 2024. If approved, this measure would authorize the issuance, sale, and delivery of tax-exempt revenue bonds, notes, or other obligations in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $40 million to assist the borrower in the financing, refinancing, or reimbursing of costs associated with an authorized project at its campus at 1800 Perry Street Northeast and an expanded campus that will be located at 3420 16th Street Northeast The new campus on 16th Street will serve as the permanent home of its high school. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I move the draft committee report in print with leave for staff to make technical, editorial, and conforming changes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimously, and the measure is approved. This concludes the additional meeting of the Committee on Business and Economic Development. The time is now 2:30 p.m., and this meeting is adjourned.